Hello and welcome to the AST Pro series, which is powered by the Coffee Technicians program. Interested in developing your skills as a coffee technician? Check out the Coffee Technicians program, an education program for new and experienced technicians alike. Available at the foundation, intermediate, and professional levels, the Coffee Technicians program consists of 6 modules: coffee machines, hydraulics, electrical, water and preventative maintenance, operations management, and coffee preparation. You can learn more about the program at sa.coffee/coffeetech, or also, this is a perfect episode for this, just stay online and listen to the conversation we're hosting today.
All right. Thank you very much. So yeah, let's kick it off. I'm Keegan. I am hosting today. And let's get to some intros. Highland, if you can.
Hey, Keegan, read the introduction and the disclaimer, please.
Oh,
sorry.
Sorry, it's not up. So this is Ask the Pro Season 4, Episode 2, discussing the C-Tech program and ASTs. And as always, this presentation is for informational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this webcast are those of the presenters and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any aspect of the Specialty Coffee Association or the companies that didn't quite get there. Sorry. Or the companies the panelists may represent. And thanks everyone. Welcome to the Ask the Pro series. This is our 4th season. We are committed to presenting these episodes throughout the year. So please say Fridays at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Coffee Tech Guild. Highland, we could move to the next slide, please.
Is it there? Because it's there for me.
Oh, sorry, it's moving very slow on my end. Apologies, everyone. Okay, let's introduce our panel today. Speakers, we have Ben Helt, Director of the Authorized SCA Trainer Program, Brady Butler of Trailblaze Coffee, and Panagiotis Litos of Coffee Island. Then on our panel today, we have Kurt Benedict of Last Man Coffee, Maria Cleveland of EarnX, myself, Keegan Cairo from Canteen. We have Ann Halsney of Scroll Parts, and moderating today will be Highland Joko. So let's go down the list here. What coffees are everyone drinking? Ben, let's start with you.
Oh, sure. I just finished a liter of Brazil from the Minas region. In my previous life selling green coffee, this comes from a co-op that we worked with in Minas and roasted by a local roaster here in Kansas City. And we've had farmers and representatives from that co-op here in Kansas City. So it's one of these coffees that I have a strong connection to from start to finish. But the main reason I buy it is because my wife likes it. And so it's her favorite. So we drink that coffee every day. And so that's what I had. Delicious.
Wonderful. All right. And Brady, what do you have in your cup?
Brady.
Delicious water.
Well, I'm drinking water. So water chemistry is one of my my fun things that I like to work with, but I'm actually drinking water mostly because I just finished a 3-hour espresso class, and so I've had about 6 shots of espresso already today. So if I'm talking a little quickly, somebody just motion at me to slow down. But I happen to be drinking some coffee from my friends here at in Charlotte, Pure Intentions Coffee. It's a nice espresso blend. But this is water. It's about 50 ppm TDS. It's got about, about 40 ppm of CaCO3 of calcium. But you guys, anyway, thanks a lot for letting me join us today.
Love it. All right. And Panos, what are you drinking today?
I have an espresso which is almost done. So I will stay with water also. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Kurt, how about you?
Kurt, you're on mute again.
Sorry. Drinking a blend from my friends at Unravel called OG Geisha. So it's Ethiopian. That's about all I could tell you.
Yeah. Good morning, y'all. It's Maria. I'm in Denver today, and my friends Barb and Bruce have Costa Rican from Tico Coffee in Santa Clara, and the founder is Costa Rican and does a fantastic job.
Wonderful. I will go next. I couldn't tell you exactly what coffee I'm drinking. A friend brought it back from Brazil, so I know that much. Unfortunately, I don't read or speak Portuguese, so that's about as much as I can tell y'all, but it is tasty. All right, and Anne, what are you sipping on?
That was my dog Wilson bringing me coffee. So this is just a neighborhood up on Greenwood in Seattle. It's called Herkimer Coffee, and it's espresso blend. The roaster's a buddy of mine, so I've been drinking his coffee for a very long time.
Delicious. I've had Herkimer. That's a great one. All right, and kick it over to our moderator, Highland. What are you drinking? And then after that, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, sir. I'm drinking Clay Coffee. It has a medium roast Congo blend, which I still am blown away that Congo actually sells coffee, and it was actually incredibly delicious. I want to thank our guests. Looks like we have a good world audience tonight for coming. Well, this morning here. Panos, thank you for staying up for us and across the world. We have a new member of our production team, Ann Halsney. So Ann, why don't you introduce yourself and just kind of talk about yourself really quick?
Talk about myself. I've been in the industry for a long time. My name's Ann Halsney. I started at ESI, went through many manufacturers, and now I own a parts company. So I've been kind of through it all, through the ringer, they say here. So hopefully I can bring some insights that are a little bit different than somebody that's super focused, because I am not focused. I'm all over the place. So it's amazing what little things you know in your brain that you didn't know. It really does. This isn't rocket science, right? We're trying to bring good coffee to good people. And so that's really my, the part of me trying to help in the CTG and help with these things is just to help people get good coffee in their cups. It's that simple for me.
Thanks, Ann. So for today's episode, Mr. Ben Held is going to do a presentation for us on the CTEC-P program, and we're going to have a little short discussion about ASTs. We've invited Brady Butler and Panos, who are ASTs, and I'm actually an AST myself. Ben will go through his presentation. Ben, I have turned the screen over to you, my man, so you can start whenever you want. And let's get started. Ben, it's all yours. If the guests can go dark and the panelists can go dark while Ben presents, I'd appreciate it.
All right. If I can get a head nod from Ann before you turn off your camera, can you see my screen? Is it showing up for you? Just want to get a confirmation on
It is, Ben.
There it is. Good, good. Well, thank you for giving me this time, inviting me to this discussion to talk about the Coffee Technicians Program. And I want to just take a minute to share some, to talk about the audience for this. And after I do that, I'm going to be talking about how this product, this education product, is distributed. I'll talk a little bit about some of the course offerings that are available, some that are still in development, and then talk a little bit about what happens as you progress through these courses. And then I'll wrap it up with kind of a description of who the trainers are that we engage with in the Coffee Technician program, so that if you're thinking that you might be someone who would like to deliver this product, distribute this product with the SCA, that you might know kind of what we're after and what that process might look like in the future. And so first, I just want to talk about this word, Coffee Technicians Program, this name of this. Even in Richard's intro of this, we talk about it being for technicians. But we know that everyone in the coffee industry has a relationship with coffee technology. Sometimes it's a very transactional relationship, pushing buttons, hoping it works, those kinds of things. Other people have on the far end, a much more intimate relationship with coffee technology. They may be part of an R&D team at a manufacturer. They may be somebody who services these machines in the field. I wanted to take a moment to just say that the name of this program could be just as easily Coffee Technology Program, because it's not just for technicians. This is for anyone who is passionate about learning more about coffee technology and the support and service of coffee equipment, right? So this is not something that's just limited to someone who wants to become a coffee technician or is a coffee technician already. This is meant to be something where anyone can engage and learn more. Now, for some, this may be a beginning of their lifelong journey, mastering the efficient support of coffee equipment. But that may not be for everyone, right? Mike Sable, who many of you know from up in the great Northwest of the United States, would often say that sometimes when they were doing training for the manufacturer he used to work for, what you're really doing is developing and training your own eyewitnesses. And there will be some who engage with this program and that's where they end up. There will be others who are using this as professional development to prepare themselves to engage with emerging technology and be effective in the field. So I want to make sure that I communicate that this is a large audience and a large appeal for those beyond coffee technicians. Now, this is a program that was championed by the Coffee Technicians Guild, and I would consider one of the greatest achievements of the guild so far is advocating for the creation of this product. And what was it, 2015, 16? I'm not exact, I can't remember the year, but when all of these folks interested in creating this Coffee Technicians Guild, this thing to better advocate education opportunities and networking and representation for this segment of our industry, came right here to Kansas City, Missouri, and started this. One of the things that was top of mind for them was more education opportunities. And that, over the years, even surviving COVID and the challenges there, has led to the creation of this program. It's really important at this point to stress that although this is a certificate program, a certificate skills training program, it is not a certification program. As we know, different countries, different parts of the world have different rules and regulations by governing bodies or jurisdictions that have certain requirements when we start using the words certification. Right? So this is not a certification program. When you get done with this, you're not a certified coffee technician with any kind of protection or anything that comes with that. But you will definitely be able to communicate job readiness. And why? Because one of the things that sets this program apart from other training and education opportunities dealing with coffee technology is it involves exams. We have lots of education opportunities like the Ask the Pro series, like the CTG's blog, like manufacturer training, where learners, those interested, those who are wholesaling coffee equipment or serving coffee equipment come and are presented with information. And they're being told. That's kind of like telling. What makes training different is that at the end, there's an assessment. There's a practical exam and there's a written exam. So when someone comes to you for a manufacturer training or they're wanting a job with you whether it's for a technician job or not, when they hold up that certificate, you're going to know that they have been tested, observed in their accomplishment of the learning objectives by an authorized trainer, which I'm going to speak of here in a little bit. Now, the way that we distribute this product, and I think it's very important to communicate that these courses are a product. They're an education product. But the SCA, we don't hold these courses. We don't set the prices for these courses. We develop the product. We do that through curriculum writers, volunteer subject matter experts that review that curricula for accuracy and safety. And then we provide that curriculum design to authorized SCA trainers. You've heard this acronym even leading up to this in the advertisement of our time together or in the intros. That stands for authorized SCA trainer. This is someone who has met all of the qualifications and purchased a license for the right to the materials and the ability to deliver these courses in this product to learners. These authorized trainers are independent operators. They set their own tuition fees, they set their own schedules, they design a learner experience that's right for the culture where they are, the customer that they have, adhering to strict delivery standards as part of our program. Now, the SCA collects an administrative fee for everyone who passes these exams, and that's what generates the certificate. It's not a closed loop either. Those administrative fees we collect don't just keep the education program running. Those administrative fees help us do all of the things that we do in the SCA, all of our research projects, sustainability projects. It helps sustain our competition programs, those things. So when someone participates in this program, not only is it a win for the learners and the trainers, but it's also a win for the whole coffee community with that. And so it's important to note that when people ask me, how much do the courses cost? Well, I'm going to be pushing you out to the ASTs. They compete with each other. They develop, I shouldn't say compete with each other. I mean, they do, but we have a real great spirit of collaboration amongst these authorized trainers to make sure that we're putting out a great product. But they're also designing their own special experiences. In fact, one of the people who was supposed to be on our call today is delivering practical exams right now. That's Marty Rowe here in Kansas City, and he's delivering practical exams right now while we're doing this. So, any questions about the distribution model before I continue?
Hey, Ben, yeah, I actually do. How effective has it been, that model?
How effective has it been?
Yeah, I mean, do you find that it's been pretty, does it work well, I guess is my question.
This is a great question. When the Specialty Coffee Association of America and the Specialty Coffee Association of Europe unified to form the SCA in the middle of the last decade, there was a lot of discussion about which model would be best to make sure this program is most accessible and most culturally relevant and sustainable around the world. This is the same model that we use for all of our certificate programs, specifically the Coffee Skills program. And the fact that the Coffee Skills program generated more than 67,000 certificates in 2021, even in the face of pandemic restrictions and those things, we do have faith in this model. Now, this is brand new, right? We do have authorized trainers on all but one continent so far in the training, but some of these courses have just been released. Some of the trainers are still finding moments that they can offer these. I noticed that my friend Mehmet is in the crowd. Hello, Mehmet. And he's anxious to take these courses. So the demand currently outweighs the distribution network for sure. And so that's why it's imperative for us to get underway when it comes to announcing the process in the next week. It's going to be probably the next week or two where we announce the process by which people can now go down that authorization path again. Keep in mind, authorizing trainers in this particular program is very important, that we maintain our standards. In some of our other programs, if you don't learn how to properly steam milk for a cappuccino, there's going to be a bad customer experience, right? There's going to be like, it's going to be a poor job. In this program, if we have poor instructions, somebody may get seriously injured. And so it's very important for us to have the right people at the helm of these courses.
Ben, thanks for clarifying that on the safety issue. I appreciate that. Panelists, does anybody have a question before Ben moves on? Okay, Ben, it's all you.
Okay, so let's talk about the content of these courses a little bit. There are 3 core modules in this program. In each module, there are 3 progressive courses from foundation to professional. And I'm going to talk about the difference between those levels in just a moment. We have found that as we develop this program, it makes a lot of sense to really focus on the core modules here. These are the ones that we know from research, communication with those that represent the industry, that this is where it starts, right here. Understanding the the electromechanical nature of these appliances and these machines here. And then obviously, just like every part of our industry, water matters, right, in preventive maintenance. And so these are the core modules that will be developed and released first. Then, along the way, there will be the development of ancillary modules. Okay, so this would be coffee machines. Imagine someone that comes from a different industry where they've already been exposed to a lot when it comes to hydromechanical parts and functions and systems, and they maybe have an electrical engineering degree. They may have all sorts of experience, but they don't have a clue the difference between an automatic and a semi-automatic and a fully manual. They don't know what a paddle group is, those kinds of things. Just introducing them to the history of coffee machines, espresso, those kinds of things. That's what you would see in the coffee machines module, is understanding machines, the network of that. Operations management. Many of you have someone in your network who maybe they don't put the wrench on the machine quite a bit, but they handle like dispatch, job orders, inventory management, parts inventory, what's important to have to support the machines in your market, those areas. That's what you would see under there. Just like maybe like a piano technician or a piano tuner, we rely on this segment of our industry to be completely familiar with the technology and be able to tune it. And so it's fairly important for our folks dealing with coffee technology to also understand extraction, right? And the steps of espresso, have some sensory ability along the way, manipulating those variables of extraction. And that's what they would do in coffee preparation along the way. So what you will see in the next couple of years is that authorized trainers in this program must be authorized in all 3 of these core modules. You won't have an AST in hydraulics and an AST in water and preventive maintenance. Right now, in order to be an authorized trainer in this program, you have to have all of those. I see some action here in the chat window. I'm going to see. Okay. That's a good point, Brady. I'm going to have you on in just a second to address that. So, as these are developed, this is what you would see as the core. Then there will be opportunities for those to add on ancillary modules one at a time. There may be people who are well situated to deliver information on these that may not be the right trainers for hydraulics and electrical. And so you can expect this. Now, Brady, when you say that Okay, we'll come back to that. Thank you. Sorry for that disruption. Now, I mentioned that this is developmental, and I think this also speaks to what I was saying earlier about who the audience is, how broad the scope is for those to engage with this program. And I want to talk a little bit about the differences between where we, what we hit on these levels. At the foundation level, this is truly foundation. This is meant for somebody to walk in off the street and start, right? This isn't, you have to have been a technician for 3 years to come into a foundation course. There's no prerequisite for a foundation course. This is designed to take someone from zero all the way through. We use Bloom's taxonomy, if any of you are familiar with that, to kind of take people through both the cognitive and the, the psychomotor skills throughout the process. So in the beginning, we're just talking about recognizing and remembering. That's a flow meter. This is where it is. This is what it does. That's a check valve. This is where it is. This is where you'll find it. Here's what it does. We're not taking it out. We're not replacing it. We're not really even getting into too much about how it fails. It's just understand and remember. This is what rate of flow is, or flow rate for an incoming water line, right? And here's how you check it, those kinds of things. So there are definitely things we do and that you need to recognize and remember at that foundation level, but it's really like there's no working on any live machines or anything like that. And there's really not even any taking parts in and out. It's just introducing them to that space, systems that we find within the machines, and so on and so forth. That doesn't mean it's not hands-on, but the goal is for that learner after they're done with foundation to recognize and remember. Now, as we move into intermediate in these courses, then we start to analyze and apply. That's when we start to talk about how parts relate to each other. We start to talk about how systems, while something in one part of the system can affect something in the other part of the system. This is where we may identify something to take out and replace. We're not talking about, creative fixes when it comes to, like soldering a thing or anything like that. It would be mostly parts replacement at this point. So analyze and apply. Start to look at the system as a whole and how those parts interact with each other, and basic troubleshooting at that point. Now, once we get to professional, that's when it all comes together. That's when more creative solutions can take place. That's going to be a higher level of difficulty when it comes to investigation, and starting to turn the corner from what you know to what you can teach to your customers. This is a significant change that you'll see from foundation to professional in water and preventive maintenance, where you first are like measure, aim, treat. I think I've got that wrong, but like learning those basics at the beginning, and then as you get to professional, you're more prepared to make recommendations to consumers about what's the best solution for that fits their budget, space, and what they're trying to do with their water. One of our hopes is, or one of the goals is, no, I'm going to say this is it. When someone has finished the professional level of hydraulics, electrical, and water preventive maintenance, they should be able to go to a trade show like Expo, World of Coffee, Host Milano, MICE, Cafe Show in Seoul, London Coffee Festival. There's a bunch. I'm sure I'm leaving out several. They should be able to go and take a look at the emerging technology, new products, and quickly analyze the impact that those new features and those things may or may not have in real-world application, right? They won't know everything, right? But it better prepares them to engage in the marketplace when it comes to emerging technology or even existing technology. In many cases, this program will teach them where to go to find that. Now, there may be some, as I've mentioned before, there may be some that they've been in a different sector of the coffee industry for a few years, and they think, I really like technology, or I think I could be a coffee tech. And they may go take a 3-course bundle of hydraulics, electrical, water, and preventive maintenance, and realize they no, like, that's not for them. And that's valuable education. For some, taking these courses may make them decide, you know what, I'm going to keep calling Kurt. You know, like there's going to be like, yeah, this was good. I want to learn more, and but this is probably going to be, I'm not going to go down this path. For others, this may be the catalyst that, you know, helps us create, you know, a sustainable workforce when it comes to servicing and supporting these machines. You know? And so, go ahead, Highland.
So then I have a question. As an AST, how do you, we have Panos who's a coffee AST. As an AST, how do you become an AST for this program and the coffee program and the coffee skills program?
Okay, I'm going to get to that in just a moment after we talk about the product. What's really important in this is for everyone to understand the product, and then also if you feel like you might be someone who could train this or wants to take the entrepreneurial path of training this, I'm going to kind of discuss what one of these trainers looks like in just a moment. Now, I mentioned earlier that the content of this is something that we've used a couple of different models to attempt in the past. We've had volunteer content creator groups, and that's worked fairly well. The Hydraulics Foundation course came directly from that. Another model that we've been using in the SCA is moving towards having contracted curriculum writers who have experience both in the topic and as instructional designers. Now, on our call today, we have Brady Butler, who has been serving in that role for a couple of these courses. And I wanted to maybe give you just a moment, Brady, if you want to talk about, or maybe even disagree with me on this particular slide about the vision of the progression. Did I capture that well, or am I a little bit off?
Exactly.
Can't hear you.
Brady, you're on mute. Brady, you're on mute, or we can't hear you.
Still not working, Brady. It may be the headset. But we'll circle back. Oh, no, hey, whoa.
Hear me now.
Yes.
Outstanding. Great.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Brady.
Ben, that was exactly, I think you captured that exactly, because that's, you know, we do see people walking in off the street that have never picked up, maybe not picked up a lot of tools, maybe not have a lot of experience working with the equipment before. And so I think the foundation that recognize and remember, looking back at the students that have come in and taken the classes that I've offered in this program so far, that met them exactly where they were. So I think that's in that progression, at least looking forward into intermediate and professional, exactly matches my understanding. So good job.
I will say, I want to add one more thing, this observation, and hopefully I'm not boring anyone with this, but like, you know, Highland just brought up how we have trainers that are both involved, like Panos and yourself and some others on this call that are also, they know coffee extraction. They teach extraction, retail focused brewing and espresso, and they teach technical stuff. And a lot of the folks on this call do that because I know everyone is engaged in both. One of the things that I think is interesting about this program and how it's maybe organized in an opposite fashion of the way we teach coffee. In coffee, we start with broad and work to precision, right? And so you kind of like work on these wide things and work to a precise thing where you don't, I'll skip the example. Because of safety reasons and starting on a good foundation, you'll find that this product starts with precision and then gives the person more room to come up with creative solutions on the way. Because there's no room for imprecise actions when you might get a face full of steam or an electric shock or some kind of burn, something like that, something that's unsafe. So for those of you who are listening to this and being like, I don't know, like you kind of squinty-eyed and you don't know about the safety of teaching people this, there's a strong emphasis on safety. In fact, each one of these courses has a safety module that is pasted into every course. And so it's a consistent safety module throughout the piece. It's not a separate safety module, so that we don't want it to be one of those things where you take the safety thing and then it's over here, we're done with that. Safety is built into every course and throughout the course. So I know I always get questions about the safety aspect of this, so I wanted to bring that up. Any other questions about the product or what someone might experience in these courses? Before I move to AST, I promise I'm getting to AST next.
Panelists, anybody have any questions? Okay, Ben, you're good to move forward.
Okay. I just had an additional thought on the content of this. I wanted to kind of, and Brady, I may ask you to jump in on this, or anybody on the call who has looked at their course materials they have access to, is because of the practical exams, if you had someone walk into your manufacturer training, applying for a job with you or sharing this information with you, I want to give you an idea of what someone who holds a course certificate in hydraulics, electrical, and water and preventive maintenance foundation, what they've been observed doing. You know, someone who holds those certificates has had an instructor watch them connect the machine to water supply after establishing the rate of, the flow rate and flushing it. They understand and have demonstrated that they know how to pick out the right hardware, the right fasteners and connectors to make that happen. They've already shown that they know how to put a plug on a cord cap and choose the right one for the outlet and the electricity, or to stop and say, this isn't right. We need an electrician. We need I need to report this to whoever hired me. They've demonstrated on their own that they can do that, and an instructor has pulled on it to make sure it's tight, that they know how to do that. They've demonstrated that they can take certain measurements with multimeters. Like they've demonstrated that they can do that. They've demonstrated they know how to use a titration kit and other ways to measure the chemical makeup of a water. They've demonstrated that they can perform some very basic preventive maintenance procedures and how to appropriately clean some items. And I'm not covering everything. They've also shown that they know how to use the 2-wrench method, how to support both sides of a connection, and those kinds of things. So I'm really hopeful that over time, that manufacturer trainers, like imagine, I went to a manufacturer training and it was great. I loved it. We spent a lot of time talking about what a volt is and what an amp is and those kinds of things. Those of you who are involved in manufacturer training, imagine having a class where everyone in the class of your manufacturer training has at least 2 or 3 of these certificates, and you know that you can review for safety purposes and then get right down to your equipment and focusing in on that. I truly hope that that's part of what we see as an outcome from this program. Okay, I know there's a lot of interest in how to become an authorized trainer in this program, and I think I really want to stress the point that this is an entrepreneurial endeavor. This license is not cheap or free. It's fairly priced, and it's a reasonable investment for those who are going to engage in offering these courses. But it is an investment, and as somebody who's considering becoming a trainer, you would want to have a version of a business plan or understand how you're going to recoup that investment, either through offering these courses for a price, or how it would benefit the company for which you work, and those kinds of things. So I just want to make it clear that it's a step, and for a lot of authorized trainers, I have a exit window or an exit door conversation where I'm like, here's what you're getting into. Are you sure you want to? We talk through that. And but it's extremely rewarding for those who get involved. So who is a CTEC-P AST? Like what characteristics do they have that we want to engage with? A CTEC-P AST has career experience. This isn't someone who has just taken the coffee technician program courses and then got a license to teach them. We're definitely interested in having people who have career experience servicing other people's equipment. It's kind of the standard, multiple years. We're talking about 5+ years of career experience. As you know, there's a lot to see, there's a lot to experience out in the world, and trainers who have that career experience are going to be able to answer questions better. They're going to be able to give students a broader view of what kind of technology they may find in the field. A CTEC-P AST has third-party credentials. This is a very big category and shouldn't scare anyone off of getting involved in this. This includes academic degrees. This includes, in some countries, like you have to have a card to work on anything that has gas going to it, or certain amounts of electricity. In some countries, you have to have, some kind of trade card or something that's issued by an authority that says you can even take the panels off of a piece of electrical equipment and get in there, right? And so as we're assessing trainer applicants, third-party credentials matter. This includes manufacturing training too. So you can always count on a CTEC-P AST to have more than just career experience and have maybe taken some of these coffee technician program courses. Being a subject matter expert does not make you a good instructional designer or someone who's good at coming up with lesson plans and connecting with students. A lot of people are very good about talking about this subject matter, but there's a difference between telling people and training people, helping them achieve certain learning objectives. A CTEC-P AST is going to have experience training adults. Now that training experience they have may or may not be in coffee technology, maybe in other things, but they've shown that they can put together effective lesson plans and manage their time well. And then this is reinforced through the AST course, which I teach, which is a required onboarding session for everyone who becomes an authorized SEA trainer. CTEC-P AST is active in their community. We're very interested in getting licensed trainers who are interested in or already are visible in their coffee communities, right? Because the whole point is for them to help distribute this product. And so these are folks that you see participating in events like this Ask the Pro series or competitions or providing learning opportunities for people outside of the certificate programs. And the CTEC-P AST comes highly recommended. Letters of recommendation are a part of all of our authorized trainer processes, and this is no exception. You should know that when you're engaging with a CTEC-P AST that other people trust them and believe in them along the way. So that's a little bit about who we're looking for in this program. And those points that I just shared with you, those are what drive the application process. Everything kind of mirrors this. All of the applicants are also going to pass a 50-question aptitude test with questions from our foundation level and beyond, hydraulics, electrical and water and preventive maintenance, to just show that they have that subject matter expertise. Because if they can't get past that test, then it's not now. It's not a no. It's just not yet. Got some things to learn before you come back. We've held some opportunities to get the first rounds of authorized trainers in the year of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, because we had a bit of a chicken and egg thing with this, and so we needed to get some trainers in the field so that people could start taking these courses and we could get those products out there. That process was very intensive and required a committee review of applicants. And what you will see in the next month is us releasing a trainer authorization process that's a little bit closer to our coffee skills program process, but with a few different standards. The hurdles might be a little bit different when it comes to getting through that process there. So you can look forward to that. If you have questions about that process and you want to just get on my list so that I can send you a note when it happens, you can do that by using this address there. What you can expect that to look like is you will submit an application that helps me understand all of those points that I just said. Once that application is complete and accepted, Then you will be sent an invitation to take that aptitude general knowledge test related to coffee technology and a few other things related to just broad coffee knowledge. Following that assessment, that's where we will decide whether or not you're going to be an AST or not. If you are, you will be given, the opportunity to pay your license fees, and that's how you secure your spot in an upcoming AST course, which is a 5-week course delivered online, distance learning by myself, that prepares you to be successful using our systems and understanding our standards when it comes to quality of delivery. Once we issue that invoice, you're going to be an AST, right? At the point that we send you an invoice to pay for the fees, you're going to be an AST. Now, it may take you a little bit to get through that course. I'm not going to let you sign the agreement until you're ready for that. But I'm going to be with you until such time as you're ready to go out and start delivering these courses. So this concludes my comments about this program and how to become an authorized trainer in it. There's a lot of people on this call, on the panel, and also in the audience. Are there any questions that have come in that I need to address?
Yeah, Ben, we've got Gustavo, who's, hello, Ben. When and how can we get enrolled in the next course? Panel, let's get on camera, please.
Now, Gustavo, could you let me know kind of where you are in the world?
Let me take a look and see if it says.
Maybe you can put it in another question or so. While that's happening, as I mentioned, we do have trainers around the world with this. Some have been able to start offering their courses and others haven't. Keep in mind, they are the distribution network. So until they start offering courses, sometimes they may or may not be available. I would write to me at this address, unless you already have Gustavo. Okay, Gustavo is a AST in Venezuela. Wonderful. So Gustavo, you already, as an AST, understand the distribution model. So you would know that you're going to get that answer from trainers themselves. If you visit our new education website, and I'm going to put the link to that site in the chat window, education.sca.coffee, and you click the Get Started button, you're going to find 2 links, one to our other certificate programs and one to the Coffee Technicians program. If you go to the Coffee Technicians program calendar, you're not going to find much. That's just where we are in the start of this thing. You're not going to find much. The best thing to do is take a look at that AST directory that you can download from that same page. Contact ASTs near you and let them know of your interest. It may be something that kind of is the tipping point for that AST to be able to take that initial risk and get those courses on the calendar. There are some ASTs in both Central and South America, which you will find on that directory. And I would definitely recommend you reach out to them. I also know, and I can't name drop in this session, but
No, you can't, young man.
I do know that there are some ASTs that are interested in travel and taking the show on the road. And so don't be afraid to reach out to people in that directory that are not even on your same contact. So
great. Hyland, what other questions do we have?
That's just that's the only one that we have right now.
Okay.
So let's go to the panel.
Great.
Actually, Maria, go.
So Ben, this was a great background of where things are at. So we've made an amazing amount of progress in the last year. So kudos to all of those, and Brady and our buddy Marty Rose out teaching right now, so he can't be on the panel. So I'm delighted to know that the AST course now is an online thing, because for many years I wanted to become one myself, but the dates didn't fit and I couldn't get on a plane. So as I hear you say, it's a 5-week, typically takes the individuals 5 weeks to get through. You mentioned invoicing. So how much is that in US dollars or euros?
Yeah, I probably need to have that in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm really good at remembering the dollars. I'm going to try to remember the euros, but
All right. Well, we can do conversion. I get it on my phone. I can do a conversion.
Actually, Ben, I've got a question for Brady. So why don't you look that up and I'll ask Brady my question. Brady, you and me are both ASTs. How's it been? How's your experience been with the material so far?
It's been pretty good. It's been very good. I like, you know, I was a trainer under the old SCAA model using the canned classes that came with PowerPoints and came with activities. And I like having the flexibility to be able to design my class and run it in a way that makes sense and works for the students that I have in front of me. So working with the material, I feel like we nailed the level appropriateness. I feel like the evaluations and the assessments are fair, and I feel like the feedback that I've gotten from the students, I've run three courses now, and the feedback we've gotten from the folks that have been through the classes has been they learned what they wanted to learn. They learned a little more than they wanted to learn, and they left having a positive experience with that. So the students are appreciating the content, and as an instructor, I've been able to tweak it and change things around and make some activities run differently. And I love having the flexibility of being able to do that, which I didn't have in the old model.
Could you kind of explain to our listener what the process is in terms of developing the curriculum?
Right. So the product, the product that Ben's been talking about includes a couple of pieces. It includes the AST guidebook, which has the list of individual learning objectives, some details, some links to some resources where the trainer can go find. We want to talk about threads. What's a link that talks about threads the way that the SCA feels appropriate, or we feel it was appropriate to do. So the guidebook has individual learning objectives and some details we want to cover, as well as details about what kind of questions the student's going to be asked about at the conclusion of the class. The packet also includes the practical exam and the trainer guide for the practical exam. So that will really detail, here's the deliverables in terms of a skills demonstration that we're looking for each of the students before they finish the course. So it's a booklet, so you scan through it. When I'm designing a course based on a guidebook, I'll just kind of look down through and say, here's the way I think these concepts flow together. Here's where I think people are going to be walking in the door, what they're going to know, what we need to do, and what progression for it to make sense. And that's changed with time too. I have restructured the way I run the class. Based on the first class that I ran, students had a little bit more trouble kind of understanding the way the pieces work together. And so we started with a systems approach and then moved into more detail. So being able to kind of rearrange things to make it work for students, that's been a fantastic experience.
Thanks, Brady. I'm going to go back to Ben. So what we're going to do, you guys, we have a finite amount of time left. We're going to have Ben discuss the pricing, and then we'll go through the panelists. If you guys have any questions, if any of the viewers have questions, please get them up right now. We will go a little bit over, but Ben, I'm going to back to you on the pricing.
Okay. I'm going to just do a quick total and not explain the rationale behind any of it. If anybody's interested, it would be something I would discuss with you there. For the licenses related to the 3 core modules and your base authorized SCA trainer license, this would be $2,400, and that's for a 3-year license. This is the same pricing as the Coffee Skills Program AST, but it's actually cheaper because we've taken $40 off of each module because we're also making you get all 3 modules. Coffee technician ASTs can add CSP modules through eligibility, and you can kind of go across module as long as you're eligible and meet all those eligibility requirements. So it's not cheap, but it's a reasonable investment. If you think about that being an $800 per year investment, if you're actively delivering courses, you'll be able to recoup that fairly quickly.
Thanks, Ben. Maria, anything to add to that?
Yeah. So I guess that then there's ranges then for how much then the ASTs charge for the modules, right? Brady or Highland. So right, it's anywhere from several $100s to, if you did a 3-day course to take somebody through all 3 modules, it'd be several $100s, I would imagine. So the ROI, I guess, is there. It depends on how active you are.
There's a lot of stuff. You know, you have to have a lot of equipment and a lot of tools, and
that's right.
It's
Yep.
For those who are listening who are like CSP ASTs, like the amount of stuff that you need to make this happen it's different, it's more complex, it's more rigorous. And takes some doing.
But by the same token, I hear all the time that there are companies that do not have, they have a dearth of techs. They don't have enough hands. And so, you know, and I've encouraged folks to go to local high schools and community colleges, and to do then some, we'll call it business development, we'll call it partnerships with then folks that want to put forth great paying jobs in their local communities. So I think that there are creative ways that ASTs then can partner up in their local communities to get some of these investments paid for, perhaps, and perhaps even some grants from their local governments or what have you. So
Absolutely. Workforce development, I think, is a real opportunity for the Coffee Technicians Guild community around the world. As far as, like, you know, there's young people who are learning some of these skills and they're uninspired. Like, they're like, okay, I'm going to go work on air conditioners. You know, for some of them, being introduced to applying those skills to something that they may have a passion for is something that could just benefit our entire industry. You know, so you're absolutely right. But that goes for all education. It's important to note that education is not just limited to these certificate programs. This webinar is part of education. And so, like, there's so much to do. I love that. The workforce development opportunities here are just amazing.
Thanks, Ben. I'm going to run through the panel and see if the panel has any questions, then we'll wrap it up. Brady, do you have any questions or comments? Okay. Keegan, you've been awfully quiet.
Yeah, so I'm curious, how could becoming an AST benefit someone who either has their own business or is working in a place where any training that they might do would be kind of in-house and they're not necessarily filling out for that training?
Okay. Well, I'll take that in 2 parts. Oh, I think I lost your last sentence there. I think you dropped off. Did I miss something?
No.
No.
There's just a big delay with Keegan.
Oh, okay. I apologize. So this is a product, right? And so, like, for some who own their own company, adding this product to their existing portfolio of the trainings they offer is going to benefit them because the demand is high, right? And in some cases, we'll use some of the same equipment they already have, you know. And we always encourage those who are authorized trainers in the SCA who also have other things in their portfolio, other things that they're delivering. So it doesn't have to be just SCA. You know, it can be other things that they create, other things around that. Brady just said he did a 3-hour espresso workshop this morning, and that doesn't sound like any of our products, right? So, like, it's his own thing. And so it's one of a variety of products. So it's just like adding a new line of manufactured machines to your company's lineup of what you offer or something like that. And so, like, just making money as somebody who sells courses and sells education. And now there's others who take this product and leverage it for different purposes. Internal, being able to say that all of our techs have earned these certificates. You know, sometimes it's just a matter of staff development. Others may use this product as a bonus for the relationship they have with a distributor or something like that. You know, you're like, hey, send your people, we'll give them this for free because we love you so much, you know, and those kinds of things, building that relationship. So it's a product that can be leveraged and benefit the entire industry at the same time. Great.
Ben?
And frankly, Keegan, it's a great product, and the only I mean the tech product is a great product, and the only way to get it is to be an AST. So if you want to train your techs using the program, there you go.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to add one little thing there, is because it's platform agnostic, it is manufacturer agnostic, and so I think that, you know, particularly in your channel of business there, Keegan, to be agnostic in that sense is important. I don't know. because you play with everybody. I mean, your types of equipment, your folks touch blows my mind.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Ben, I'm going to move on to Ann. Do you have any questions or comments?
No, I was just thinking about as a business owner and trying to develop your own community. You know, I see a lot of techs that could benefit from any type of training, especially this. I mean, it looks great. Again, I would like to see it, but I can't see it unless I become, you know, a head honcho. So I can. I'm willing to look at all the information, go through it myself in the next couple of years, and then, you know, I would have a tech. I'd say, hey, you could benefit from this. Once a year, I could throw somebody a scholarship, right? So we have to get the communities involved instead of giving somebody, you know, money to a magazine for an ad. I'd rather have a tech out there that is certified in my own community. So we have a lot of options here with education. Education is the key to all of this. And so we just need more educators out there.
Awesome.
Not really a question.
No, I said questions or comments. So
yeah, that was it. Comment.
Thanks, Ann.
Kurt,
go, Ben.
Okay. Let me just say two things if I can. One, Ann, you know, we did several beta tests of this at like CTG summits and things like that. And Ann has been a supporter of sending all sorts of parts for those. So I want to say in front of everyone, thank you to Ann for taking things out of her inventory and shipping really heavy boxes full of stuff to us for that. And sometimes they didn't go back as good as she sent them. So I really appreciate her lending those to us. But what a great point of that. And I wanted to say, if you go to that website that I said and look under the Coffee Skills program, we have what's called a course catalog. And it outlines every topic, everything that happens in a course. That same document will be put together for the Coffee Skills program so that you'll be able to, as a learner, not just as somebody who's authorized, you'll be able to see exactly what you're supposed to learn through that. And employers will be able to look at it and say, okay, cool, you know? So that's coming. Got to get it done.
Thanks, Ben. And Mr. Benedict, your turn.
The only question I was going to bring up, and this is more just for the general guys, general people that want to be the tech, is there a list of ASTs? I don't know if I caught that or not.
Yes. So here's a couple different ways you can get that. You can write to this address on the screen, write me, I'll send it to you. Mm-hmm. Two, you can go to that website that I've got in the chat window and then go to Get Started, and you're going to scroll down and you're going to hit where it has an AST directory. Unfortunately, our systems in the SCA are not good. Like, it's just not good.
Okay.
And all sorts of things have created database issues. And so we're taking all of this database stuff and replacing it during 2022. So good times ahead, light at the end of the tunnel. But between now and then, the Copy Tech program has to be on its own, because if we add it to that system, it's going to break it. So like, it has to be over here on the side, you know, right now. So that's coming. Reach out. I'll get
we have a viewer question from Mark Roby. If the course is brought in-house, would the company have to pay the fee for each technician to go through the course, or how does that work?
Oh, great question. So for everyone who passes a course, and this is the same for all of our certificate programs, an administrative fee is due to the SCA. So for example, foundation course administrative fee is about $48. So if you had an AST in-house who is providing these courses, you would obviously have to pay the AST license fee, and then, you know, whatever arrangement you have with them, that's your business. But when they pass, in order to get that certificate, $48 comes to us through that AST, because that's who we have an arrangement with. We don't have an arrangement with companies or campuses. Our license is with the person. Does that answer your question, Mark? Mark's probably about 10 miles away from me asking me this question.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Ben. Panos?
Yes. Mostly, I would like to mention that generally the program is a great opportunity for both sides, for learners, but also for the ASTs, because also the ASTs still remain learners every time. So the foundation program, especially, which says recognize and remember, it's exactly that, because personally, I could tell you that we always remember things that we thought that we knew, but every day is a different day. So it's something that goes every day, a different experience, let's say. So a learner can become an AST, and an AST is always a learner. It's a great opportunity for the product, for the community of coffee, of the product of coffee, but to improve also our colleagues, the technicians, and make the industry better, let's say. That's more or less. Thank you, Alan.
Well said.
Thanos, I appreciate that. Hey, Brady, I have a question, and if you're comfortable stating it, and if you're not comfortable stating it, you don't have to. For some of our viewers, what are you charging for your classes?
So what I'm currently
what's
doing.
Your model?
What's my model? So my model for all SCA courses, CSP and CTEC-B, is I price them at somewhere right around $500 a day, including certificate.
Okay.
I'm offering, so the CTEC-P courses, each one of them really needs about a day and a half, maybe 2 days to offer. So what I do is I combine those together, and this is similar to the approach that Marty Rowe takes at Workbench, and I might have gotten that idea from him. Is to present all of them together in a full week. So you get a late start on Monday, you get an early finish on Friday. That course, I believe both Workbench and I are running right around $1,800 for that course, US.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions before we wrap it up? Ben, any final statements?
Thank you to all of you. I mean, because we're all championing this program, and I appreciate everyone's patience. I was happy to make sure this didn't die during 2020 with all of the everything that was happening with our organization and canceling stuff and all that. I'm really glad that this survived. And so thank you to all of you. And if any current CTEC-P ASTs are listening, it's time. It's time. Offer these.
It will be for what you're saying, Ben. So with that, I want to thank our panelists and I want to thank our guests. Next week's episode is with Don Berquist and Michael Tehan, and we'll be discussing or fighting about hydraulics. Depends on depends on where we're at. It's a feisty group, so I really recommend that you join. I also want to thank our viewers, and we have a worldwide audience today, and it's great. Everybody, stay safe and have a great weekend.
Bye.